So today I've been working on a silent air compressor. This is using Dan Foss FR 7.5G compressor. I did just have a PTC starter on it, but I've modified it with an 80 microfarad start capacitor, so it will even start up under load. It was all closed off and sealed when I got it, so all I did was just cut the ends off, and I removed the oil. It has polyester oil in it, and it absorbs moisture, and from what I've been reading, it could possibly become acidic if it gets a lot of moisture in it, and then that could cause damage to your tank when it goes in. So I removed all that and just replaced it with, well, automatic transmission fluid basically, and it seems to be working quite well. So that's something to bear in mind. You should really pour the oil out it, because for air, polyester oil shouldn't be used. This here is a water cooled aftercooler, so the air will come out there quite warm and it's going to get cooled down here, and the moisture will condense out of it and it'll collect in here. This is a very good air dryer, well at least it must be, because it cost £20. I went down to Pipemore to get it. So there's a 2 metre coil of wire, well, copper tube in there, and that absorbs all the moisture. The cold air, I've actually taken the air from outside because I want it just to be as cold as possible. I don't think it is really necessary, but every little helps I suppose. And it goes into this filter here and then into the compressor, because you don't want dirt and crap and water or whatever getting into it. And water shouldn't come down there because it's actually sort of underneath a sheltered area on the roof. This here is just an air regulator, so I've got it turned all the way up to maximum, so the air will just go in there, and there's a pressure release valve there, and then it goes along there to my tank. And well, it's just got a filter in it, so it'll remove anything else that's left, but I don't think there should be very much coming through it. It goes up to 10 bar, and at that point the pressure release valve goes off, and it goes back, it stays on for quite a while actually, and goes back down below 8 bar again. But I'm going to get an electric pressure switch, a better quality one, because the one I did have, the diaphragm in it burst. And I'll start it up just now. Well, that's it running, and thanks to the start capacitor it can actually start up. The capacitor was a lot bigger than I thought it would be anyway, but that doesn't matter, because now it can start under load no problem. Another issue is if it's filling the tank from empty, by the time it gets to, I think it's about 90 psi, the compressor is really quite hot. I don't know if that's the motor winding heating up or the high pressure discharge line inside it generating a lot of heat. It's probably a bit of both. So I need to find a better way to cool this. The only way I could really think of is maybe wrapping copper pipe around the compressor, and then maybe put thermal compound on it, or just something just to keep it thermally in contact with the compressor itself, and just have my cooling loop going through it. There does seem to be a bit of a leak here, but because of the gravity pulling the water down into the reservoir underground, it doesn't seem to be a problem. It's not that water there, was just me trying to find the leak, but it seems to be the seal. I've got 2 of these tanks, and when I finally got both of them connected up, the other one's sitting over there. I'll need a bit of a clean up I think. They'll both be put upside down, and the reason is I'm putting them upside down so water can't accumulate inside them, because if it does and it is left like far too long, it's just going to damage the inside, and possibly over a very long period of time could make the tank explode, since it's got no drain in it, so they'll have to be put upside down. You can't see it very well, but it's almost like it's sort of foggy inside there. You can see the fog sort of moving around, so this aftercooler probably isn't removing all the water vapour, but it does get quite a lot of it out, and that combined with putting the tanks upside down should be a brilliant help with getting rid of water. Because obviously before it comes to the airline, this is another water trap that will get rid of even more water. So by the time it comes out the end of the airline, it's going to be, well, pretty much as dry as you can get it without going all the way with a refrigerated air dryer. So basically, if you're building your own compressor, it doesn't really matter what you use, as long as you have an aftercooler. They are really important because they do catch a lot of water, and that for me is the most important thing, because the reason I've decided to actually do this is simply because I don't really like the tanks on normal compressors, because they're made of quite thin steel, and I've read a few instances of those exploding. I know it probably doesn't happen very often, but it's best to be safe than sorry. These oxygen tanks here, that's what they are, they're old oxygen tanks, are rated for 3000 psi, and I'm only running them at about a maximum of, what, maybe 140. So they're running at about 5% of the rated pressure, so the chances of these things going off are pretty much none. So I hope you found that interesting. The only thing I've got left to do really is find a way to cool it and make the wiring safer. But it's just like that just now for testing. And obviously get an earth there, so I need to replace this cable with one that's got an earth on it.